The third crystal lay in the palm on the scales of the right claw. With a quick slash from another claw, the scales were slit through and fresh blood seeped out. Once again, the absorption began. The golden horned beast's huge head looked down at its right claw. While observing, a huge, painful change began to occur in its right claw. With the special control abilities of the golden horned beast, it could completely control and limit the area of pain on its body. At this time, the third crystal had completely vanished and was absorbed into the right claw. Trigger. The golden horned beast triggered the mysterious energy from within. Immediately on the scales a blood-red engraving appeared. After absorbing the first crystal, this engraving was very simple and small. After the second, it got more complex. It had even doubled in size. At this point after the third, the engraving had gotten much more complex, almost as though they formed one full perfect body. It waved its right claw, triggering the universe golden origin law energies. With one slash, a formless wave shook the air. A terrifying shockwave immediately exploded the mountain ranges ahead, and large amounts of metal scattered around. Compared to before, the strength has totally doubled. The melding level with the universe laws has also doubled. The golden horned beast couldn't help but raise its head and howl. Masha Luofeng had high comprehension ability. When it unleashed its strength, it was extremely strong. The golden horned beast, however, didn't have such an ability. Its attack was powerful mainly because of its natural talents and body, along with deities of the world, etc. And while it had proficiency in law comprehension, in battle, it couldn't unleash the full potential of the origin law strength. But now, with its comprehension to gold and the other laws doubled, even its battle powers had been doubled. Even though compared to the Masha clan's comprehension ability of 10 times, this is nothing. But it's still very impressive. Comprehension had doubled, and strength had doubled as well. Luofeng was excited. Absorbing 3 crystals meant one would become a blood warrior. A blood warrior had double the normal comprehension and twice the power during battle. I'll continue with the fourth. The Blood River Crystal's abilities were simply too heavenly, raising both comprehension and power. Even though every one of them didn't raise much by itself, however added together, it was still pretty impressive. One had to know that the Masha clansmen and other special races in the universe were all races with special abilities. The golden horned beast relied on brute force. The Masha clansman was proficient in assassination, and the Blood River Crystal could raise one's comprehension of all the laws, giving them the feeling of a fish in water. I really don't know how these Blood River crystals are produced. The golden horned beast continued to absorb the fourth crystal, similarly in its right claw, and this time while the right claw triggered the mysterious energy, the blood-red engraving grew even more. The overall growth, however, this time in comprehension and power seemed to be just a little. The raise itself wasn't obvious, far from the previous 3. On to the 5th. After the 5th, the moment it triggered the mysterious energy, the engraving got more and more complex. It's melding with the universe origin laws and unleashing all rose by a level as well. The 6th, 7th, 8th. Luckily, I have enough Blood River crystals. The Undying Shrine Envoy gave me 10. Otherwise, there would no way the golden horned beast would have 10 to absorb. The black-clothed Luofeng stood at the side, looking at the incomparably huge being the golden horned beast as it began to absorb its 10th crystal. If it were a human, absorbing the 10th would make him a black warrior. The black warrior in Blood River Continent was a legend, belonging to the pinnacle of humans who had absorbed the crystals. Who knows what will happen to the golden horned beast after absorbing the 10th crystal? Let's begin. The golden horned beast used its sharp claw to slash its right palm, slicing through the scales. The 10th beautiful Blood River crystal fell into its palm, and immediately, the beast used its spirit energy to control it to land on its palm. As it made contact, the absorption began. An even matter killing intent was produced. The killing intent attack from this 10th crystal is still very normal. It cannot affect me. It pales in comparison to the core of the whirlpool. The changes in the bones and muscles have already reached a very painful stage. However, I can still bear with it. The golden horned beast let out an incomparably painful howl. 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 It shook the skies. Damn. The pain made black-clothed Luofeng kneel on one knee, and the earth-body Luofeng in the huge pit quarters too grabbed the floor. The pain caused sweat to fall constantly from his forehead, yet he gritted his teeth hard. It's too painful. It's simply. The pain from the right claw directly affected its soul. The 3 bodies all shared one soul. As the golden horned beast howled in pain, the Masha body and the earth body all were in extreme pain too. This pain far exceeded the physical level, even to the point where the soul's willpower couldn't control it. It entered deep into the soul. Howl. Wail. The golden horned beast, as the initial and direct point of pain, had to endure the strongest pain. It couldn't control its body as it flew madly into the skies of the metal continent, crashing about, large amounts of golden mountains crumbling as it smashed into them. The ground had huge 10 kilometers deep craters. As the golden horned beast was in excruciating pain, the right claw had become a pale gold color. The scales seemingly thinner. The tips of the claw too had become a pale gold, as though the tips of those blade-like claws had countless little engravings. The scales returned to black and the claws returned to its original state. The pain slowly dissipated. Who? Black-clothed Luofeng stood up. Luofeng, who was in the huge pit quarters, too let out a sigh of relief. The golden horned beast stood on the ground for a while before stirring. I had known earlier that absorbing the 10th crystal would be special. However, I didn't expect the pain to be like that. Luofeng was speechless. People with weak consciousness, just from the pain, their souls would have long crumbled and died. Howl! The golden horned beast rumbled and stood up, waving its heavenly pillar-like right limb, simultaneously triggering the mysterious energy within. As it was triggered, the surface scales of its right claws had a huge change. The scales, bones, muscles, claws, and its innermost essence were swiftly changing as well. This was a change that occurred at its very core and essence. Such a change was obvious even on the outside. The right claw scales were thinner and were a pale gold in color. The muscles seemed to have doubled in thickness, the veins and vessels within had all become a pale gold in color, and the tip of the claw itself had become a pale gold blade-like claw. It seemed like there were countless engravings that were impossible to see with the naked eye. Simultaneously, the entire right claw had an incomparably complex and perfect blood-red engraving. It had formed one full body. This, black-clothed Luofeng and the earth body were both completely shocked. The golden horned beast looked at its right claw, seeing clearly the unbelievable power coursing through it. It waved fiercely. The comprehension and unleashing of the origin laws is 3 times from before absorption of any crystals. Luofeng's consciousness could clearly feel the right claw's huge change. This was still within my calculations. However, right now the right claw itself, it actually had a change in its very core. Normal carbon was formed from carbon atoms. Iron ore was formed from carbon atoms. A change in its essence, its physical appearance and strength too would go through change. And after absorbing the 10th crystal, that mysterious energy seemed to change the body itself, infusing a special effect, and actually directly changing the essence of the right claw. Not just its interior, but also the scales outside were changed to a pale gold in color. What power! The strength of this right claw can match up to the entire strength of its whole body from before. The golden horned beast gently waved its right claw, creating shockwaves every time. Just how huge was its body? Its strength was mostly derived from its huge size, and the tail which was almost as long as the entire body, along with the huge wings and the 4 claws. And right now, just the strength within the right claw alone was comparable to its entire body. What idea was that? Natural ability strength doubles my strength. And the right claw now has the strength of the entire body from before. If I can completely control the full strength, with 1 slash, wouldn't that be 2 times the full body power from before? The change in the right claw, in terms of strength, is akin to the natural ability strengthen. Luofeng was shocked. Blood River Crystal. The peculiar and terrifying crystal was not only changing the beast in terms of universe origin laws, but also the essence in its body itself. Actually, during the first absorption, Luofeng felt that the crystal itself was able to change the essence of the body, able to instantly transform one into a beast man, scaled man, and so on. However, that was simply during the absorption process alone. The moment it ended, everything would return to normal. Even though Luofeng had always suspected that the crystal had other abilities. However, he hadn't discovered them yet. After absorbing 3 crystals, he hadn't discovered it. After absorbing 10 crystals, only then did he realize its terrifying ability. The golden horned beast's right claw itself has to be strengthened at least 10 times before it is comparable to its full body strength. Luofeng was shocked. This mission of Blood River World was indeed the right choice. Absorbing 10 Blood River crystals, the golden horned beast's most proficient body strength had doubled. As for the law comprehension and law unleashing, they had increased by 3 times from before. Its entire strength had indeed leapt quite a lot. Continue absorbing. Even that Qinyo could absorb 12 crystals, my golden horned beast should be able to take more. Luofeng was extremely excited. The golden horned beast raised its head and let out an excited roar, once again beginning to absorb another crystal. The 11th, the pain was indeed strong. However, it was obviously weaker than the absorption of the 10th, not as excruciating as before. After successfully absorbing the 11th, indeed, its law comprehension and unleashing all had risen. The 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, no more. No more, I have no more crystals. They've all been absorbed. I need more crystals. I need more, the more the merrier. The golden horned beast raised its head and howled. The black-clothed Luofeng too clenched his fists, and the Luo Feng outside in the huge pit quarters frowned. Blood river crystals? I need large amounts of it. But where do I get them? Huge pit quarters. Luo Feng, who was dressed in the bronze armor, sat on the stone chair and pondered. Qinyo has blood river crystals. Even though I can get as many as I want, normal warriors can only absorb so many. Hence, the number of crystals he has definitely has a limit, and I am afraid I can at most get 1 or 2 more from him. Luo Feng shook his head. That's definitely not enough. Then he squinted. There's only one way. So, a blur rushed into the cloud levels, rushing straight into the 18th level. It was Masha Luo Feng, and beside him a silver-white pyramid appeared. He followed the cabin door into the ship. Control room. Luo Feng, what are you doing? Babata's voice resounded in the control room. Why are you using the Masha clansman? A black-armored Masha Luo Feng sat in the wide, comfortable sofa, revealing a smile. Babata, don't worry, I'm using the Masha for the crystals. He swiftly repeated the story of the golden horned beast and the crystals, also telling him the aim of all this. So absorbing 15 alone isn't enough? Absorbing 10 alone is that heavenly. So what would happen if you continued on? Babata was extremely excited. Masha Luo Feng nodded. Hence, I'll be placing you, the cloud contact vine, and all important treasures on the Masha body, including the life core within this body. Right now, the only thing left in that huge pit quarters is my Earth-human body. Even if it meets a tragedy and dies, it's nothing. As long as the core was undamaged, even after the 3 bodies are destroyed, they could be regenerated. What you are doing makes sense, leaving the core in the Masha body. In terms of survival, the Masha body with this automaton ship is indeed much safer. Babata admitted. What are you preparing to do now? Hunt. Masha Luo Feng revealed a smile. Blood River continent is endless, with many different worlds, every one of them controlled by sector lords. And the world cities here go up to the tens of millions. The number of sector lords, too, should be that many. As for the number of domain lords, it's 100 times that of the sector lords, even more shocking. Blood River continent favors the strong, and all these worlds within, all contest each other. Every day large amounts of humans die. Every year many domain lords die. What I need to do is to secretly hunt a few domain lords. I won't kill too many either, since there are tens of millions of worlds in this continent, with thousands of places controlled in each world. I just have to kill 1 domain lord each. Hunting close to 10,000 domain lords all over the entire continent wouldn't even be anything. Masha Luo Feng's eyes gleamed with excitement. From 1 domain lord, I can on average get 1 crystal. This way, I can get close to 10,000 blood river crystals. I believe that this is possible. This close to 10,000 crystals will be enough. Masha Luo Feng said softly. Haha, vicious. Close to 10,000? Haha, then do it. This is too thrilling. Hurry and leave. Use your universe's strongest assassination clan power. Babata too had been infected by the excitement from Luo Feng's explanation. Hunt. With the entire Blood River continent's countless worlds as his target. Secretly hunting. Undetectable. Let's go. Masha Luo Feng ordered. The automaton ship resembled a meteorite and swiftly flew into space outside the world. Blood River continent. Tianyu City. This was an ancient city more than 1 billion kilometers away from the edges of the ancient god ruins. Tianyu City Leader's Mansion. Walkway outside the entrance. You dare to challenge me within my own territory? You are looking for death. Even if you regret it now, it's too late. The green-skinned man with cold eyes, dressed in armor, sat high on a 10 m tall grasshopper beast. He gazed down and ordered, give the order, bring that Maji family leader here. City leader, that little Maji punk is very arrogant. He keeps butting heads with you, my lord. He should die. However, the Maji family is huge. Hence, it's hard not to have a proud disciple. There's no need. Beside, a cloud-level general in armor said respectfully. A blur crashed straight into that general, knocking him backwards into a large hotel construct behind, making the entire building explode and crumble with rubble, flying far into the distance and hitting heads of passerbys. Some were simply killed on the spot. Immediately there was chaos in the streets. So, from the crumbled building a silhouette flew out. It was the pale general who was spitting out blood. He knelt down respectfully. City leader, I'm wrong. I know my mistake. Remember, Tianyu territory is my territory. The cold gaze of the man swept below. Whoever I say should die, should die. If you dare question me again, it won't simply be this whip. Understood, understood. The general was extremely terrified. Go and destroy the entire Maji family. If he has to blame someone, then he can blame that punk. My mood was good today, but it was completely destroyed by that little punk. He should take a look at himself first. Something so insignificant, yet he dares to provoke me. I'll destroy their entire family. It is as simple as killing a little bug. The man sat on his grasshopper, ordering the group below him before entering his city leader's mansion. And that general had just stood up. General. The rest looked at him. What are you staring at? Hurry and gather the army. We'll go raise the Maji family to the ground. The general shouted. Yes. The Maji family in this Tianyu city ranks at least in the top 10 families. Just because of that one little punk offending the city leader, they are finished. What a pity. How did that Imochong youth offend the city leader? I don't know. I heard the city leader dressed up as a normal person and brought 2 guards along the Westria Tower. I don't know what went on with him and Master Imochong. They just clashed. And the young master has always been arrogant. Today, it was his bad luck that he met the city leader. With his order, the entire Maji family is over. Pity, pity. Pity my ass. The city leader isn't a good person. That Imochong is also a bastard. It's better that more of them die. A large group of people gathered in the distance were discussing. Amongst them, Luo Feng, who was dressed in a casual black long robe, stood and listened. While revealing a smile, he muttered, I didn't expect to see such a good show here in Tianyu City. City leader? That brutality. I hope I get more crystals from you. The black-clothed Luo Feng disappeared without a trace amongst the crowd, invading the city leader's mansion. Within the city leader's mansion, this was a 7-story luxurious palace. A cold-looking man was lying in a 10 m long huge bed. 2 beautiful scaled women with scales on their foreheads were massaging him. Lighter, lighter. Right, like that. The man had his eyes closed, ordering them. City leader, my sister and I spotted a piece of clothing at the colored clothes pavilion. Buy whatever you see, just buy them. Just settle whatever the amount is with the management in the mansion. The cold-eyed man said casually. Thank you, city leader. The 2 young ladies said excitedly. The man's lips, however, curled into a smile. Holding such power, such control over people's lives, the feeling of making countless people beg before him. It was simply too wonderful a feeling. My senior sure was stupid, training so hard just to become a world city leader. Is there even a need? I'm living it up, haha. City world leader? Is it so easy to reach there? Life should be this way. 3 blood-colored flashes. The cold-eyed man stared in shock. Beside his luxurious huge bed stood a black-clothed man. In his hands he wielded a blade and stared coldly at him. I'm dead? How can this? The man felt his life core shatter within. Even though he was shocked, he was still staring. Simultaneously his consciousness dissipated. His life of extravagance had ended. How rotten. The black-clothed Luo Feng stood beside the bed. He was looking at the 3 bare naked bodies, his eyes cold. Leading such a rotten life, and he managed to become a domain lord. That's simply pure luck. Or should I say, it's because of his background? The bigger the background, the more I like. The bigger they are, the more crystal they may potentially have. He swiftly acquired the space ring from that city leader. 2 crystals? Luo Feng smiled. Not bad, it's a good start. After which, he waved his hand and the 3 bodies, including that huge bed, were all kept in his space ring. He was prepared to destroy all evidence. Shwa. Black-clothed Luo Feng was like a mirage, immediately leaving the mansion and rushing into the skies straight through to the 18th cloud level. After which, he sat in the automaton ship, flying in the space above Blood River continent. Kill 1 person and change the location immediately. He was absolutely cautious. With the competition and killing between each sides of the worlds, wars often erupted. And in these messy situations, a domain lord dying occasionally was a normal thing. And sometimes when the domain lords are killed, their underlings don't even know, thinking they might have gone somewhere to train. In space, in a side chamber of the palace, the one in charge of surveillance over the entire Blood River continent. What is His Majesty Luo Feng doing? Why is he always in that automaton ship, flying all over, entering for a while, and coming out again? How is that a while? It's normally a couple of days each. However, this frequency is too high. Just what is he doing? The group of sector lords in charge of surveillance were all curious, because they didn't understand just what Luo Feng was doing. As Masha Luo Feng was hunting, within the huge pit quarters of the ancient god ruins, Luo Feng dressed in the bronze armor sat there, eyes closed. This speed is quite fast. On average, I get 1 crystal every day. The hunting plan till now has already lasted for half a year. Including last night's haul, that should be 98 crystals. Luo Feng smiled and opened his eyes. Another 2 more, that makes it 100. Even though he was in the ancient god ruins, Luo Feng was very relaxed. As his core was within the Masha body, along with the living AI Babata and the other important things, his Earth-human body here had nothing to worry about. Even if I'm killed, I just have to waste some energy from the internal world to regenerate. Luo Feng closed his eyes. His consciousness was connected to the virtual universe via the quantum computer within his space ring. In a while, there'll be a space origin law class. I can't miss that. in a quiet and vast city more than 1 trillion km away. Within the city leader's 3-story mansion, a man lay in his armor in the training room, and the black-clothed Luo Feng stood beside him. With these 2 blood river crystals, it'll make my total haul since I left the ancient god ruins 100 already. Black-clothed Luo Feng immediately waved his hand and destroyed all the evidence. After which, he left without a trace and rushed into the sky, sitting in his automaton ship and flying in space above. Within the control room of the automaton ship, black-clothed Luo Feng sat in his sofa and laughed lightly. External simulation 100%. Immediately the scenery about changed. A wild and incredibly beautiful dream-like space image. Below were the cloud levels of Blood River continent. Luo Feng, the previous 2 times you absorbed 30 crystals each. How many are you prepared for this time? The lights beside had formed an image of Babata. The little demon smiled happily as he looked at Luo Feng. I have prepared 25 for absorption. The black-clothed Luo Feng said. Ah, in the ancient god ruins, the golden horned beast absorbed 15. Plus the 30 crystals it had absorbed twice before. Right now it has absorbed a total of 75 crystals. Plus the 25 today, it'll make a perfect 100. The little demon Babata laughed weirdly. That intense pain. Can you take it? Black-clothed Luo Feng frowned. Pain? Right. Back then during the 10th crystal, it was so painful. Even the golden horned beast couldn't help but crash about. At that same time, the other 2 bodies too suffered intense pain, enough to make one's soul leap out. The 11th crystal, however, didn't hurt as much and was in fact much weaker than the 10th. However, as more crystals were absorbed, the pain continued to rise gradually, until when he hit the 72nd. The level of pain was comparable to the absorption of the 10th crystal back then. Luo Feng fought with all his might before, getting past until the 75th. However, his entire being was in a complete daze. Today will be number 76 to 100. I guess the pain will exceed the previous few times. The little demon warned, if you cannot take it, we can split them into a few days. No problem. Black-clothed Luo Feng's eyes were focused. This little pain. If I can't even take this, how can I even think of becoming undying? This isn't just a little pain. If your willpower wasn't strong, your soul would have long crumbled. Babata warned. I've never heard of one's soul crumbling from absorbing blood river crystals. Black-clothed Luo Feng said softly. If I can't take it, I will probably end up fainting. At that point, the absorption will stop, and there will no longer be any danger. And Babata, I have a feeling that when I absorb the 100th crystal, a miracle will happen. Black-clothed Luo Feng's eyes had a hint of anticipation. Let's begin. Shua. Within the ship, only a core was left. At this point, black-clothed Luo Feng had entered his internal world. Internal world. The golden horned beast, which was like a black mountain range, slowly got up. Beside it, the black-clothed Luo Feng suddenly appeared. Who? A heavenly pillar-like right claw was extended and placed before Luo Feng. Number 76. Black-clothed Luo Feng took out a triangular blood-red crystal and placed it on the scaled palm. It used its claw to slice through, and the absorption began. Black-clothed Luo Feng gripped his fists and gritted his teeth. He stood there and trembled slightly. Howl! The golden horned beast rushed into the sky in pain. The 2 huge cloud-like scaled wings flapped madly, dancing about in the vast metal continent. It occasionally crashed into metal mountains, venting out as it suffered intense pain. After this went on for a while, it finally stopped. Still okay. It felt a bit better than absorbing 30 consecutively before. Looks like my willpower has been trained and developed more. Black-clothed Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief and released his grip. The golden horned beast landed and lifted its right claw, triggering the mysterious energy. Immediately the claw changed from a pure black to a pale gold color. The fully armored black golden horned beast was mostly black in color. Even its 4 horns only looked gold because of the many golden engravings that lit up. In truth, it was a mix of black and gold. Only this right claw was completely pale gold, and it held within endless power. And on this right claw was an incomparably beautiful engraving. Its complexity, compared to the entire body's gold engravings, it didn't have too much of a difference. However, even normal people, they would still feel that the complexity and overall look of this blood-red engraving was somewhat lacking. It had yet to be completed. Looking at how complete this engraving is, I feel that only after absorbing the 100th will it be complete. Black-clothed Luo Feng stared at the blood-red engraving on the right claw. After absorbing 3 crystals, the blood-red engraving was simple, yet complete. After the 10th, it was a lot more complex, once again forming a complete picture. And right now, after 76 crystals, on to the 77th. Black-clothed Luo Feng placed another crystal into the right palm. 78, 79, 80. The further he got, the change in the right claw caused such pain that it made the golden horned beast feel like it was dying. However, in its bones was a powerful and solid rock-like willpower, allowing Luo Feng to bear with it over and over. Pain. Intense pain. 86, 87, 88. Ancient God ruins, training room of the huge pit quarters. Luo Feng's entire body was kneeling in the room. Dressed in his bronze armor, his 10 fingers were like hooks fiercely gripping the stone ground, gripping and reducing the stone to dust. He grit his teeth. Crackles could be heard from his teeth. His face was flushed, veins popping out, perspiring profusely from all over. The whole ground was wet. Ka-chee, ka-chee, pa, pa, pa. Spit. Luo Feng spit fiercely. 2 broken teeth flew out of his mouth. Damn. Pain. So much pain. Luo Feng's entire body was trembling. Sweat flowed out from the seams of the armor, and his skin felt like almost as though it had been steamed. That intense pain that boiled down to even his soul had affected his entire body. Luo Feng violently lay on the ground, his entire being almost paralyzed, breathing and gasping hard, breath after breath. My God, I finally made it. I feel like I've died over tens of thousands of times. With the virtual universe 100% simulation, the pain too can be simulated. However, the pain of death isn't even a fraction of this pain. Luo Feng was completely sprawled on the floor. His earth body alone was in such pain, and as the primary body of the right claw absorption, just how much pain did the golden horned beast have to endure? One had to know that this level of pain entered into its soul via the golden horned beast's body. The pain the golden horned beast felt was the most intense. This is only the 90th. How will I continue? Luo Feng couldn't imagine. The pain he endured before was already the most terrifying pain he had ever endured in his entire life. So much so that his consciousness was about to crumble, almost triggering his auto-defense mechanisms. Fainting was a form of natural self-preservation. However, Luo Feng was very clear about the fact that the moment he fainted, it would mean the failure of the absorption of the crystal. More than 1 trillion km away in space, within the automaton control room, the crystal core was floating and revolving. Internal world. 91st. Black-clothed Luo Feng took a deep breath and placed another crystal in the palm of the golden horned beast's right claw. The huge beast, which was larger than even rivers, looked down at the crystal with its dark golden eyes. There was a sense of fear in them. It was simply too painful. After slashing a wound, fresh blood seeped out, and the absorption of the 91st crystal began. Kill. 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 The incomparably mad killing aura completely swarmed over Luo Feng's willpower. Every crystal absorption's killing intent willpower was stronger than the previous, and at this 91st crystal, the killing aura seemed comparable even to the aura whirlpool where it was 8 times the normal aura, maybe even stronger than that. My heart is like a mirror. Don't think of affecting me. Get out. Luo Feng's willpower raged, madly defending time and again against the effects. He was finally able to get the killing aura willpower to back off. I've finally made it past the killing aura willpower. Actually, at this point, it wasn't simply just the pain from evolving the right claw that was unbearable. Even the killing aura willpower, that alone was very hard for Luo Feng to fight and defend against. However, defending against the killing aura willpower compared to the pain of evolution was different. Against the killing aura willpower, defending was simply defending. Hence, the failure was simply a failure. No pain, no consequence. However, that pain continued on, wave after wave, until the entire right claw had evolved. Only then would the terrifying pain cease. Damn, it's here again. Black-clothed Luo Feng's body was trembling. He was kneeling on the ground, with his hands on the metal ground, gritting his teeth hard. Howl. The golden horned beast madly howled to vent. The 91st was like wave after wave of killer nightmares. It finally got past it. 92nd. If one wished to succeed, he had to be hard on himself. Luo Feng continued to allow the golden horned beast to absorb the 92nd crystal. The killing aura willpower from this crystal was simply too much. Luo Feng fought hard to control his willpower, making it incomparably solid and sturdy. He was struggling against it even though it felt like it was about to crumble. Finally, the terrifying willpower backed off. However, what followed closely was the even more terrifying intense pain. Why do I feel? Black-clothed Luo Feng picked up the 93rd crystal and said softly that it would be extremely hard to reach the 100th crystal. Continue. When the 93rd crystal made contact with the wound in its right palm, an even more intense torrent of killing aura willpower rushed against Luo Feng's willpower. It was vast and endless. Every wave was stronger than before. Luo Feng barely defended against it wave after wave. Rumble. Luo Feng felt his consciousness drift, after which, the 3 bodies all fainted. The killing aura willpower had broken past his defense, swiftly returning back into the crystal. Absorption of the 93rd Blood River crystal was a failure.